What is going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today we're going to talk to you about SoundHound. I want to give you an overview of some of the current data points, what shorts have been doing, and whether this pretty epic run is going to continue or not. Before we get into any of that, make sure to hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So on Friday, it went up 15.46%, had $6.45 a high, $5.35 the low, and a massive amount of volume. So 108.53 million shares were traded, 23.6 is the average. Based on this, you saw big money looking at SoundHound once again. So this is a nice change of events. So when it comes down to a squeeze play slash momentum play, you need a lot of capital getting in, and here it is. So these are all the transactions occurring on the secondary market above $100,000. So 1.35 million, 4.53 million, and just in general, quite a lot. At the same time, you also had shorts fairly active, so I want to go over what they did. But as of late, there hasn't been all that much in news other than this, which really kickstarted SoundHound's kind of bump up in the stock price. So July the 10th, pretty epic stuff, and I think that just lays the foundation for a lot more deals to be had. And just to put it in comparison, over the last 5 days, it is up 47.79%. So pretty kick-ass stuff for that. And there's a lot of different things kind of pushing SoundHound higher. So I think the news that they came out with recently, that really, again, was perfect timing because the market was just starting to rally because of optimism associated to rate cuts. And right now for the September meeting, there is a 90.3% likelihood of a 25 basis point cut. So that is really epic stuff. And you do see a lot of analysts starting to say that small and large cap stocks are going to have a big rotation. And what they mean by that is this. I brought this up vaguely, I believe, like several videos ago, but this is all the money that is sitting in money markets. So basically record highs right now, roughly around $6 trillion sitting in money markets. So when analysts are starting to talk on how there's going to be a big rotation, they're talking about money leaving money markets and rotating back into equities, similar to what happened actually in 2020 and 2021. You do see how it went down, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people generally know what happened in 2021. Things went up to the moon, and I don't really say the moon all that often, but this is what they are talking about. At the same time, this actually just came out this recently. I believe it was posted a couple days back, but it does say the big short investor 𝗖𝗎𝗧 says the shorting current market would be insanity. And lo and behold, you do have basically SoundHound at all-time high short interest numbers. So 25.17% of the free floats being shorted works out to be 73.35 million shares overall being shorted. That equates to around $400 million. Very high stuff. Cost of our average is a little bit lower than, for instance, Thursday, so 13.32%. But on Friday, shorts did return 1.26 million shares overall. So they kind of, some of them at least, were smart and said, okay, you know what, this is a pretty good momentum that SoundHound does have, and potentially it could easily continue. So I'm going to cut my losses. Plus SoundHound, like alongside a lot of other growth stocks, are considered somewhat risky. So the margin that is required to maintain their position coming from shorts is huge. So yes, for face value, shorts lost a lot this last week, but based on the margin that they needed to kind of maintain their position, which for the most part, a lot of them did maintain their position, is like massive. So all in all, if SoundHound does continue this very good momentum play, or momentum through the rest of the week or upcoming week, then this is where you could see some margin calls coming from shorts. So it's a very, very unique and interesting circumstance. Utilization as well is 90.76. Short score, so the higher the number, the higher the likelihood of a squeeze happening, is 79.3%. Aside from all that fun stuff, going over some data points, starting off $15 million in calls on Friday, and then 3.57 million in puts. So a lot of people are anticipating a lot of upside, and it looks like there is a very strong consensus for it to be around the $9 range for the September 20th expiry date. So like I said in the past, SoundHound, or just any momentum play, when it gets going, things are going to get very, very real. And as of right now, with it closing above $6, just looking at the open interest, so this is all the calls, there's 13,000 at that $6 strike price, 3,000 at the 550, 6,000 at that 5, then 3,000 at the 450. What does that all mean? Market makers come Monday, they're going to have to buy all of that because all of that was in the money. So they're going to go to the open market and buy it. So first thing Monday, you should see a very nice bump up, but next week is a monthly chain. So this is where shit gets real, pardon my French. So you currently have 29,000 at that 5, 13,000 at the 550, and then 22,000 at that 6. So if SoundHound is able to continue this positive momentum, then you could easily see a gamma squeeze, which could roll over into a short squeeze. So things are getting very real for SoundHound, but right now with it at $6.20, I'll give you an overview of some of the strong support and resistance points. So it did land right above this R2, so currently trading between this R2 and this R3, so just watch for that to hold going into next week. On the flip side, $6.57 is going to be that next strong resistance / target. Of course, kind of take all of this with a grain of salt because momentum plays go up very, very fast and can easily break past that. But it's something, again, just to keep in mind. So let me know your thoughts on SoundHound. Give yourself a shout out. Have you been buying? Have you been selling? What have you been doing with SoundHound? On the actual chart, it is right now higher percentile of the boiling band. Stochastic, you do see a nice bullish deviation. So white line above the red, but it is at 78. So that is considered somewhat overbought. So meaning the first sign of weakness associated to the company, you could see some volatility and a potential pullback as what has happened in the past. But again, take that all with a grain of salt because sometimes technicals don't really make all that big of a difference when it comes down to momentum. And despite all that though, number of retail investors have been getting in. So let me know your thoughts on SoundHound. Give yourself a shout out. Have you been buying? Have you been selling? What have you been doing with SoundHound? And one final thing, take advantage of this promo. Simply sign up for a new account, throw $100 at it, and they can give you 5 free stocks. Each stock is valued up to $2,000. So this is a kick-ass deal. Link in the description below and also the comments. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.